It's so cheerful when YouTube says you're live. I feel excited about it. I just watched a little bit of some of my last YouTube live streams. This is experimental. This is going to be some tidying up. I'm hoping maybe I will do some face painting and Psychodelicate will come out to play. But first, it's time to clean the room. I'm going to be showing some different room cleaning that I'm going to be doing, and also talking about some of the projects I'm working on, and maybe pick a card. If somebody, you know what, I want to get some audience engagement so much that if somebody wants a card picked, I would do that. And I noticed on the last video that I do that a lot. I want to talk about the conversation that I had last weekend with a bit of wisdom or in a bit of wisdom, through a bit of wisdom, and I'm gonna do another, like an Instagram live or something like that. I think I want to go outside and do some clowning. I hope I can get myself to do that today. These are the conversations. I am going to look there. I remember having this conversation last time. Okay, I'm going to fix the window. I'm going to get some tidying up. Look at these messes. Oh, it's probably scary for whoever's watching this. We've got messes, various messes. That's a mess. Inside of this closet is a mess. And this table is a mess. And this chair is a mess. And that's a little less of a mess. I was doing some tidying up there, but oh, isn't that a pretty chair? I want to put this, oh, maybe we've got some Om music playing in the background. I don't know if it can be heard. Oh yeah, definitely some exercises about the different things that I've been trying out, such as the very popular Wim Hof. And where does this go? Maybe some costume changes. I guess maybe back there is going to be a session with my glasses on. Oh, we should listen to the High Doctrine. Let me get that playing. So I just got this audiobook I like very much that I'm listening to that I'm going to play. It's interesting too. I'm whispering to myself. And then it gets interesting. I will chat on the social medias the doctrine and ritual of high magic. By Eliphas Levi.
Knows that you are asked to perform certain experiments and that you refuse to satisfy their curiosity. Perhaps if you do not swear upon your honor, I will give the order for you to be driven back to your hotel. I made the promise asked of me, but I am still faithful to it by mentioning neither the name, nor station, nor the abode of this lady, though I soon accept that there for during 21 days, strictly observing the practices described in the 13th. All was ready by the 24th of July. It concerned the evocation of the divine ghost of Elohim. One, which concerned me, and one, which the lady was interested in. She had at first planned on being present for the evocation with another person she trusted. But at the last moment, that person took fright. And since the ternary or the unity is strictly required for these magical rites, I was left to conduct it alone. The study which had been prepared for the evocation, we had placed 4 concave mirrors and a sort of altar whose base was made of white marble encircled by a magnetized iron chain. Upon the white marble was engraved in gold the sign of the pentagram, and the same sign was drawn in various colors on the new and white lambskin which had been laid under the altar. In the middle of the marble table there was a small copper brazier with alder and bay wood charcoal. Another brazier was placed before me on a tripod.
What's a brazier?
Robes like that of our Catholic priests, but they were more ample and longer. And on my head I wore a crown of vervain leaves intertwined with a golden chain. In one hand I held a new sword, and in the other the ritual. I lit the 2 braziers with the required and prepared substances, and I began reciting in a low voice at first, then raising my voice by degrees the invocations for the ritual. Smoke expanded, the flames made all the objects which were illumined shinier, and then they went out. The white smoke slowed.
Okay, so fun, interesting fact. This relates to one of the shows that I want to do, which is talking about the different TV shows that I've watched. Because I've watched a few, to be very frank. This, what I'm realizing, my show that I want to create is Alea life coaching herself through vlogging. That's my show that I'm going to be doing, because I want to take all of the stuff that I've done that feels like wasting my time, like overdosing on binge watching TV shows. I started doing that when it was on DVD, when there wasn't even streaming. I would binge watch television shows. I recall that fondly. I remember The Wire. Anyways, although maybe I'm lying about that. Maybe I did. Anyways, okay. No, I think I had a DVD, but it was burned onto a DVD that I got. I'm off on a tangent here. But the show that I'm going to be doing is talking about the different series and what I thought about them, and also the occult information that is disseminated through them. I'll just go ahead and say this thing, and we'll see if it gets in here or not. Vervain. Maybe it wasn't meant to be heard. We'll see. That'll be interesting to find out. So Vervain was on the show Vampire Diaries. That's what they used to battle with. It was like made vampires sick. It was like holy water to demons, or devil, and like kryptonite to Superman or whatever. Okay, so anyways, that is that I wanted to share.
Those above the marble altar. I seemed to feel the earth tremble. My ears were ringing and my heart beat strongly. I put several branches of perfume in the braziers, and as the flames rose again, I distinctly saw in front of the altar the larger-than-life figure of a man, which then dissipated and faded away. I renewed my evocations, and I had just placed the circle I had drawn beforehand between the altar and the tripod. It was then that I saw appear within the mirror in front of me, behind the altar, a white form, getting larger and appearing to draw nearer. I closed my eyes and called out to Apollonius 3 times, and when I opened them again, the man stood before me, entirely covered in some kind of shroud, which seemed to me to be more grey than white. His form was thin, sad, and beardless, which was not exactly the image I had of Apollonius beforehand. I felt an extraordinary, and when I opened my mouth to question the ghost, I was unable to utter a sound. I then put my hand upon the sign of the pentagram. Then I directed the point of my sword towards him, commanding him mentally, by that sign, to stop trying to frighten me and to obey me. The form became more confused and suddenly disappeared. I commanded him to return. I then felt a kind of breath passing me, and something in my hand which held the sword. I immediately felt my arm become numb, right up to my shoulder. From this, I hypothesized that the sword offended the spirit, and I drove the point of the sword into the circle surrounding me. The human figure reappeared right afterwards, but I felt such a great weakness in my limbs, and such a sudden failing which overtook me, that I took 2 steps back to sit down. The moment I sat down, I fell into a deep lethargy, accompanied by dreams, of which there only remained vague and confused memories once I was awake. 2 days afterwards, my arm remained numb and painful. The figure never spoke to me, but it seemed to me that the questions I had had for him had been answered for me in my mind. To the lady's question, an interior voice answered within me. The question was with regard to a man which the lady wished to have news of. As for me, I wished to know if reunification and forgiveness was possible between 2 people I was thinking about. The same interior echo replied mercilessly, dead. I hear the events as they happened. I do not insist that anyone believe me. The effect of this experience on me was inexplicable. I was no longer the same man. Something from another world had passed within me. I was no longer either cheerful or sad. I felt a singular attraction, without being, however, at all tempted to commit suicide. I carefully analyzed what I had gone through, and despite a very strong feeling of nervous repugnance, I twice repeated, at a few days' interval, the same experience. If what happened during my subsequent trials does not differ enough from the first experience, we need to add to this already perhaps too long narrative. But the result of the 2 other evocations was the revelation of 2 Kabbalistic secrets, which could, if they were known to the world, quickly transform the foundations and the laws of our entire society. Conclude
That
from all
sounds
this
interesting,
that
doesn't
I
it?
actually evoked, saw, and touched the great Apollonius at young. I am not enough of a crackpot to believe so, nor so irresponsible as to confirm. The effect of the preparations, the fumes, the mirrors, the pentacles, was a veritable intoxication of the individual, which must have acted strongly upon an already impressionable person. I only confirmed that I saw and that I touched, that I saw clearly and distinctly, without dreaming, and that suffices in order to believe in the genuine efficacy of magical ceremonies. I also believe the practice to be dangerous and harmful. One's health, both moral and physical, would not withstand such exercises if they were to become habitual. The older lady of whom I spoke, and who has since caused me some trouble, because despite her denials, I have no doubt that she often makes use of Boethia and necromancy. She at times completely lost her reason. At other times, she became senselessly angry without being able to explain why.
You wanna?
London without seeing her again. But I will faithfully promise I will say nothing to anyone which might reveal her identity or even raise suspicions of other practices, which I am sure she conducts without the knowledge of her family, which is, or so I understand, relatively numerous and of a high social position.
Did you have some?
Evocations of intelligence, evocations of love,
Um, I'm clearing this off right now. It needs to
Uh-huh.
go to
Nothing
the office,
once
Levi.
again.
Oh,
The
nice.
spirits
The
actually
doctrine
leave
and
us
ritual of high magic.
We evoke the memories that have left in the astral life. Which is
Can you
the common
forward that
reservoir
to
of
me?
universal
No,
knowledge.
it's my, but we can
Well,
listen
then
to
they
it
slide
together.
in the
Yeah.
past to
But
avoid
how long can
TV
you
and
listen to
soft
it?
Forever. I own it.
Another proof of the influence of current and separate opinions
And we'll
are the
continue.
reflections of the same
Did you want to do
message,
anything,
which
Mom?
makes tables
Say
speak
anything?
with those answers by knocking on walls.
Come say the pattern on the
After the
trestle board with
invocation
me
of which
when
I
you're
just
done.
spoke about, I carefully reread the life of Apollonius, who historians describe as an ideal of old world beauty and elegance. Not that Apollonius, towards the end of his life, was shaven and tortured for a long time in prison. Those circumstances, which I no doubt obtained from a previous reading, without remembering it, may have contributed to the unattractive appearance of my vision, which I consider solely as a voluntary waking dream. I saw two other persons, whom there is no need to know, and both were different, by their costume and their extent, from what I expected to see. Demand, by the way, the greatest prudence in any who wish to attempt the same type of experiments. There results from them great fatigue, and often even distresses abnormal enough to cause sickness. Not end this chapter without mentioning here the rather strange opinion of certain Kabbalists who distinguish apparent death from true death, and who believe that they rarely coincide. According to them, most people not buried are still alive, and many others who we believe to be alive are actually dead. Terrible madness, for example, would be for them an incomplete death, but a weak one, which leaves the terrestrial body under the purely instinctive control of the astral body. When the human soul suffers a violence which it cannot cope with, it then separates from its body. It leaves in its place the animal or astral soul, which makes of the human remain something which is less alive in a way than pig eyes, they say. Death of this type of the completion of the affection of the moral senses. They are not bad. They are not good. They are dead. These beings, or the poisonous mushrooms of the human species, absorb as much life as they can from the living. That is why their approach numbs the soul and makes the heart cold. These cadaverous beings, who do all the things we once attributed to revenants and vampires. Are there not beings beside whom we feel less intelligent, less good, sometimes even less honest? Are there not beings whose approach extinguishes all belief in all enthusiasm, and who tie you to them for your weaknesses, dominate you for your bad tendencies, slowly kill your morals, and accelerate the battle as unjust? Are the dead, who we take to be living, they are vampires whom we take to be friends. 14 million mutations. Unruly, turning, obsidian. Augustine seriously doubted that after years could have been changed between acts by a whip. Augustine's argument at length regarding the transmutation of Nebuchadnezzar into a wild animal. Decision proves that the eloquent doctor of Hippo was unaware of the magical opinion, and that the theologians in question were not very advanced in exegesis. Examine in this chapter marvels which are even more incredible, yet incontestable. I would like Temple, or the nocturnal transformation of men into wolves, well known around campfires in our countryside, due to all the stories told about werewolves. Stories so well documented that in order to explain them, incredulous scientists had to resort to claims of mass delusions and hoaxes. But such hypotheses are puerile, explain nothing. Let us look elsewhere for the secret of the observed phenomena regarding this subject, and note to start with. 1. No one has ever been killed by a werewolf except through suffocation, with no blood being spilt and no wounds. 2. The werewolves who were hunted down, chased, even wounded, were never killed on the spot. 3. Persons suspected of these transformations were always found in their home after the hunt for a werewolf, sometimes about to die, but always in their natural form. Let us observe certain phenomena of another order. Nothing is more attested to, nothing contested proven, than the visible and real presence of Father Alphonsus de la Guardia besides the dying pope, while at the same time he was observed at home at a great distance from Rome in prayer and ecstasy. The simultaneous presence of the missionary Francis Xavier in several places at once has also been just as rigorously observed. One might say that they are miracles. I would answer that miracles, when they are real, are the phenomena of experimental science. The apparition of persons who are dear to us, coinciding with the moment of their death, are phenomena and attributable to the same cause. We have spoken about the astral body, which is the intermediary between the soul and the physical body. The body often remains aware while the physical body sleeps, and travels by thought within all the space open to it through universal magnetism. Thus stretches the sympathetic chain, which keeps it attached to our hearts and brains without breaking it. And this is what makes awakening with a start so dangerous for people who are dreaming. In fact, an overly loud noise can abruptly break the chain, causing sudden death. The form which our astral body takes on conforms to the habitual state of our thoughts, and it modifies over time the traits of the material body. It is for this reason that Swedenborg, during his hypnotic visions, often saw spirits in the form of diverse kinds. Fair to say that a werewolf is nothing but the astral body of a man to whom the wolf represents wild and bloodthirsty instincts, and who, when his ghost wanders about in the countryside, is sleeping restlessly in his bed while dreaming that he is an actual wolf. He is the werewolf visible as the almost hypnotic overexcitement caused by the flight of the people who see, or the disposition, more common on simple people in the countryside, to communicate directly with the astral light, which is the common reveal visions and dreams. The attacks on the werewolf cause actual harm to the sleeping person through odic and sympathetic ingestion of the astral light. There's a correspondence between the immaterial body and the material body. A great number of people might think they were dreaming and reading about psychology. They might ask us if we are
Okay,
in
I'm going to
possession
have
of our
some,
senses.
okay?
We ask that men of science simply reflect a woman's imagination upon the form of their offspring. A woman who has witnessed the suffering of a man who was severely beaten to give birth to a child whose limbs have all been broken. Explain how the impression made upon the soul of the mother by a horrible spectacle can harm and break the limbs of her infant. We shall explain how attacks made and received in dreams can actually break and even seriously wound the body who receives them in the imagination, especially when their body is suffering and under nervous and magnetic influences. Is this phenomenon, the occult laws which produce them, that are related to the effects of enchantments, as we shall speak of later? Diabolic attacks and those nervous sicknesses that affect the mind are wounds caused to the nervous system due to a perverted astral light. That is to say, one that is absorbed or projected in abnormal proportions. All extraordinary and extra-natural tensions of the will dispose one to obsessions and nervous sicknesses, forced celibacy, asceticism, hatred, ambition, unrequited love are all the principal generators of infernal forms and influences. Paracelsus says that the menstrual blood of women engenders phantoms in the air. A convent, from this review, would be a seminary of nightmares, and we could compare it to those demons with heads like the Lernaean Hydra, which were reborn without end and multiplied through the blood of their wounds. The phenomena related to the possession of Ursuline of Bougon, so fatal to the urban frontier, were misunderstood. Nuns were actually possessed due to the hysteria and the fanatical imitation of the secret thoughts of their exorcists, transmitted to their nervous system via the astral light. They received the impressions of all the hatred that this unfortunate priest had inspired, and this entirely internal communication appeared to them as diabolical and miraculous. Thus, in this unfortunate affair, everyone was of good faith, who, in blindly executing the body of the Cardinal Richelieu, believed that he was fulfilling the duties of a true judge, and did not at all suspect himself of being a servant of Pontius Pilate, such that it was impossible for him to see the priest of Saint Pierre du Marché, who was a strong and free-thinking spirit, as a disciple of Christ and a martyr. The Passion of the nun Louvière is barely more than a copy of that of Newton. The images are not very inventive and often plagiarize each other. The trial of Galfridi and of Madeleine de la Balue are of a much stranger aspect. Here the victims accuse themselves. Galfridi admits to being guilty of removing from several women, by a simple breath of their nostrils, their freedom to defend themselves against seduction. One young and beautiful girl of noble family, breathed upon by him, but in the greatest of details, scenes of the most monstrous and grotesque. Such are the ordinary hallucinations of false mysticism, and poorly described subjects. Alfredi and his mistress were observed in their reciprocal chimeras, and in the head of one were reflected the nightmares of the other. Did not the Marquis de Sade himself attract certain sickness and retarded characters? The scandalous trial of Father Girard is recent proof of the delirium of mysticism and the singular neuralgia which can follow one's wit. The convulsions of Fergier, her ecstasies, her stigmata, all of it was as real as the mad debauchery which was perhaps involuntary on the part of the director. She accused him once he wished to take leave of her, and the conversion of this girl was a form of vengeance, because nothing is more cruel than the crave for love. The powerful person who had intervened in Grandier's trial in order to defeat a possible sectarian saved Father Girard in the name of the honor of the Jesuits. Grandier and Girard both arrived at the same result for very different reasons, of which we will be especially concerned with in the 16th chapter. Through our imagination upon the imagination of others, through our astral body upon theirs, and through our organs upon their organs. In this way, with sympathy, either of attraction or of obsession, we possess one another, and we identify with those upon whom we wish to act. It is the reaction against this control that produces in the most ardent sympathies a subsequently even more pronounced antipathy.
What are you going to take?
Something.
Okay.
So, yeah, the thought was, you want me to take these bags inside?
I was going to use them for trash.
Okay. Oh, nice. Isn't this nice? Oh, yeah. Oh.
Does that feel good?
Do you want to take the light fabrics? Or well, I guess you can still have it open.
No, you know what I brought in here? The other one. Where did I put it? I'm recording.
Oh,
So I hope that's okay. You don't have to, you can come and sit on the other side if you don't want to be on camera. I think you look great. It's good to see you here like that.
well, I guess I can put on my, what do you call it? My cheerful myself.
Well, I thought we were having a beautiful moment.
We
and that
were.
was part of
Oh,
what I
God,
wanted
Malaya,
to
we
share.
were having a beautiful moment. And so that's why I'm happy.
Yeah. Oh, here, we can put this on you.
Ashanti. Oh, we were chanting earlier today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sugandhi Pushtivaranam Ulibar Kamidavandanam Chom Shirangat Om Triambakam Jamare Sugandhi Pushtivaranam Ulibar Kamidavandanam Chom Shirangat. I wanted to just ask you, for those that don't know that maybe watching the translation.
Oh, they can find it on
Yeah.
the internet.
It's called Reviewed on the Internet Commentary on the Chant. And so what I wanted to say,
Yeah, what were you going to tell
yeah.
me?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
That
Do you want me to? We don't have to. I can turn the camera off, and you can just talk if you want to.
so,
Yeah, there you
so
go.
what I wanted to say was, yeah, thank you for the coming into the room and saying I love you. Just for no reason other than what's so.
Yeah.
And then prior to saying that, I was thinking about if I wasn't, and this is for
Those watching
something
it.
that's going to be in the book of how not to
Or talk like
talk like a parent. I was thinking, oh, what if I were your team player? Like, you know, like what if I was, and I am your team player, but I mean,
what if you were operate? What? How could you be? What I'm hearing,
Uh-huh.
to put it into landmark ease,
Uh-huh.
is what's missing, the presence of which would make a difference in the way of being that you want to have.
Yeah.
And that way of being is a team.
Right. And as a mother, I feel like there is the team player. However, as this particular mother, and I don't know for any of the mothers out there, my way is the right way, you know, rather than being in inquiry and exploration. And I admired something that Nancy Pelosi said about when she was raising her children, that they would say they wanted to do something, and she would be in inquiry about, you know, what
They want to do it.
making that choice.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would say she would like to share some insights around that into where she sees those are good choices or maybe choices that they might want to have to reevaluate. You know? And so I think a couple of things that I'd like to say to you are,
Wait a second. Let me do this.
this really looks nice.
Isn't
against
that pretty?
I
Together,
think we
these
need to tidy it. You know what I mean? Make it. What do you call it?
tie it. So
Yeah,
that it's,
yeah. Well, I have a staple gun,
oh,
and then you make it tight. So,
Yeah.
You know,
tight it.
tighty it, Titanic, as we've been. And I think part of the a loving parent is just being in the space with your child, just, you know, seeing what's showing up for them, what they are interested in.
Well, this is what I'm really getting something great from what you're saying, because being a good parent to me is synonymous with the desire to be a good human being, right? How do we be loving? How do we make? Do you like
Yeah, you're doing good. I just have to drop
It's
by. No, go
Oh.
ahead. No, go ahead.
How do we be a good human being? And
Yeah.
so what is present for me is what I'm striving towards for myself is to be someone who anyone can be however they are around me.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's so easy.
it's
just
fun. It's
simple.
so much
I don't know
fun.
why they call it the work when it's
just play. It's just play.
And speaking of play, I think one of the ways to do that is to play. Like, how many times do we dance or sing together? How many times do we laugh
Well,
together?
we're just going to do it every day from now
Well, we
on
have
for
been
the rest
doing it.
of
I
our
mean, we
lives.
took comedy improv together.
We have
went
throughout our
across
lives.
the United States for 3 months in an RV. We went to
Yeah.
Europe for 7 months.
I've got the travel bug.
Yeah, and so we've done a lot of play and, you know, comedy improv for 30, you know, on and off for 30 years, and spiritual work, you know, spiritual work and meditation.
I had
Chanting.
an idea. One of the things that I want to do on my live stream experiments
Uh-huh.
is to just vlog, video log my. Maybe you and I could do that.
We do want to start now. 1962, and at that time I had no concept of parenting. I just thought if I was doing better than what I received, that I was being a good parent.
Yeah, which I think that's a good definition.
Thank you. However, when I look back, I have but then I realized that we're all given what we need for our growth and for evolution. And even though we may think we don't like it, if we can turn it around sides of the coin, so to speak, or the tree, or the branch. So yeah. So let's do your autobiography.
Okay. Well, so I would like to. We can do a little bit, and I just want to share with you what the format that I was working in is. That I'm working on cleaning up the room while I talk and stuff
nice.
Like that.
Yeah.
So we can start off just talking a little bit, and then I'm going to start
do your thing and not
moving around and
finish
your thing. The other thing. Well, hopefully, so I'm going to keep doing it as much as possible and see what comes up.
So how would you start? The other thing is what?
Well, so what I wanted to say first was the pattern on the trestle board.
Okay.
Shall we do that? And, or do you want to, do we want to sing it?
Want to sit here? I don't know. I think we should say it first and then unless you have a melody where we both know the melody. We could do na 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 na. About the sound.
I don't know that melody.
Yeah,
I didn't know what the melody.
All right, we'll just say it.
We could do it too. Oh, we ain't got a pair of love.
All right. This is the truth about the South. All the power that ever was or will be is here now, here now, here now. I am a center of expression. We're going to a different melody now. For the primal will.
No, let's just say it.
Okay.
Okay, so, and then I'm going to take in a deep breath before I say it.
Okay, sing. Unless you think I'm being a copycat.
No, I'd love it if we breathe in together and say it together. This is the truth about the self.
All the
power that ever was or will be is here now. I am a center of expression for the primal will to good, which eternally creates and sustains the universe. Through me, its unfailing wisdom takes form in thought and word, filled with understanding of its perfect law. I am guided moment by moment along the path of liberation. From the exhaustless riches of its limitless substance, I draw all things needful, both spiritual and material. I recognize the manifestation of the undeviating justice in all the circumstances of my life. In all things, great and small, I see the beauty of the divine expression. Living from that will, supported by its unfailing wisdom and understanding, mine is the victorious life. I look forward with confidence to the perfect realization of the eternal splendor of the limitless light. In thought and word and deed, I rest my life from day to day upon the sure foundation of eternal being. The kingdom of spirit is embodied in my flesh.
May all beings be happy.
Holy art thou, Lord of the universe. Holy art thou, who nature hath not formed. Holy art thou, the vast and the mighty one, Lord of the light and of the darkness.
May all beings be healthy,
Happy,
and healthy,
peaceful, and liberal.
and now I should get to work. I have my apron on.
You're in the kitchen working away.
Working
You're
in
going
the
to be doing
kitchen, working in the
your
kitchen.
cooking show
Yeah, my cooking
today.
show.
What are we
I'm
going to be cooking today?
doing the 1 minute YouTube cooking show so that we can get on with it. And
She doesn't like all those
no, I'm sorry,
YouTubers.
YouTubers. I love that you have to share, but some of it is just like,
Come on, get
I
get
wanna
with it.
see
Get
it.
to the point.
Yeah.
What's the how do
And
you
if
do
you
the
want to
thing?
do one on your personality, like, hi, I'm so and so, and this is my personality.
That's like me. What I'm doing right
Yeah,
now.
right.
Hi, this
Yeah.
is the Alea show. We're gonna do what Alea's doing.
So
This is what it is.
yeah, this is it. This is it. And so I am making turmeric milk. We're having turmeric milk every day for at least 30 days. And yesterday was day 3.
No, today is day 3. Isn't it?
Today is day 3.
I thought yesterday was day 2, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay,
Maybe
well,
it was day 3.
anyway, we're going to continue to do it. And so I bought a lot of organic turmeric. I didn't get organic ginger, but I will. And so we're making turmeric milk and turmeric tea. And I'm doing it quickly so people can see how easy it is. And it just makes such a difference. It's such a nice evening drink before you go to bed. And, there's so many people on YouTube. You can just look up how to make turmeric milk and you'll hear it talks about the benefits and stuff. So anyway, those are going to be 1 minute videos and 1 minute soup, but you don't need to see somebody chopping into vegetables. Well, maybe you do. That was a judgment. Forgive me. I'm sorry. Old habits sometimes stick in even though you
Nudge them out.
Yeah. Anyway,
Mom, I like having
nudging.
you in here,
Okay,
and I
good.
hope
It's
you'll
time to
come
go.
back and listen. What are you going to be doing though? Seriously, are you you're cleaning? Oh, you're working in the other room.
Yeah, I'm gathering. I'm a chiropractor for those who might not know, and I'm gathering. We've had all our health different paraphernalia in different parts, and now I'm creating like as if it's an office, which will be an office for ourselves and a health. So I can put up the massage table, so I can not only massage Alea's neck and hands and feet, but I can give her a valuable massage. You see, there are advantages to living with your mother.
Your mother's an excellent chiropractor healer. It's definitely
And fun, hopefully.
yes,
Mhm.
so much fun.
Yeah, so I'm going to do it. Okay, thank you for letting me participate. Is that towel yours or mine?
Oh, one person. Okay, so that was fun, huh? And we didn't sing the other one. Maybe or I'll sing it now. I just want to. I don't care how I sound good or not. I'm just gonna do it. I affirm my oneness with all that is, life eternal, sublime, and triumphant. I am that life, now and forever. I am. With my mouth.
Is that a cute look or what? This is my new going out for walks look. Mom, when in a little while, whenever you're ready, we can go for a walk.
Yeah, I just want to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at least a half an hour. I think I'll be done with this.
Set a time limit for crowd here, people. Can't go on all day. Put both of my masks here. The age of quarantine and masks. Neither of these are very covering, but at least it's something. Right? These pants need something. So, in this intro break for a moment before I start the audio book again. I wonder, I hope I'm talking loud enough. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about all the different episodes that I've thought to do so far. And then, I don't know if I mentioned this, but doing parades. I'm going to go out today. I think I'm feeling up for it. I guess probably on Instagram or something like that. Because that seems like the best one for my phone going outside. A little march. I'm going to think of a different word than protest march. It's not a protest, it's like a pronoia festivity march, where I'm going to make a sign that says immanentize the eschaton. Welcome to the new age. Welcome to the new age, immanentize, and welcome to the new age on one side, immanentize the eschaton on the other. And that's going to be my march. I think it's what the world needs now. Yes. Okay. Let's jamming music, but we'll play the audiobook for now instead of opening this. Okay, so here's the list. The cooking show, we talked about that. Toning, sound bath. Oh no, here's the bell. Okay. So easily distracted. Makeup, ASMR. I don't know much else of word we did that. Reading books and talking about them, audiobook. Archangel invocation. I was just thinking about doing that. I think they're up and I think we'd like to hear them more. Okay, so we're going to share that in a minute. Reading the knowledge book, Urantia, Course in Miracles, singing, chanting. I think we did some of that. Flow dance yoga. Let's do some more of that. Protection preparation. We're not going to do that. Chant Om 108 times. Let's see if we get to that. Wisdom. Let's talk about some wisdom. More wisdom. Arts and crafts projects. I definitely have an idea for something. 2 things I want to work on today. And room cleaning. We're doing that. And a little decorating. And of course, there shall be some more clown rehearsal. Let's pop it back here.
It has a tendency to identify beings, yet in identifying them, it often renders them rivals, and a consequence pride. To equally saturate 2 united souls with pride is to divide them by rendering them rivals. Antagonism is the necessary result of the plurality of the gods. Think about a living person. It is their astral body that presents itself to ours in the astral, or at least a reflection of that body, and the manner in which we are affected by our encounter with it often reveals hidden dispositions that this person holds with regard to us. For example, creates the astral body of one in the image and resemblance of the other, such that women's animus is like a man, and man's anima is like a woman. This exchange that the Kabbalists wish to express in an occult manner in Genesis. God created love by placing one of Adam's ribs in the breast of Eve, and some of Eve's flesh in the breast of Adam, such that at the bottom of the heart of a woman is a man's bone, and at the bottom of the heart of a man is the flesh of woman. An allegory that is certainly not Funday. You mentioned a concept that the master of the Kabbalah calls the embryonated soul. This embryonate, which is completed after the person who has possessed someone else, is often started while that person is still living, obsession of love. I knew a young woman whose parents inspired great fear, who, out of the blue, perpetrated the acts upon an inoffensive person she had feared the parents would do to her. Another, who, after having taken part in the imitation of a guilty woman tormented in the other world for eccentric acts, began to imitate without reason the acts of the dead woman. To this occult power that one must attribute the redoubtable influence of the curse of one's parents, redoubtable to all the evils of the earth, and the real danger of magical operations when one has not managed to isolate oneself as the true addict do. This aspect of astral phenomena, which really exists in it, explains the allegorical miracles of the wrong of Circe. Apuleius speaks of a Thessalonian who could transform into a bird. He got the servant of this woman to fall in love with him so he could learn the secrets of her mistress, and only managed to get transformed into a story explains some of the secrets. Kabbalists still say that when you love an elementary woman, whether she be an undine, or a sylph, or a nomad, we immortalize them within us, or we die with them. Being that elementary beings are imperfect and still mortal beings, the revelation of which we speak and which we saw in myth is that the doctrine of moral solidarity, which is the basis of love itself and is the only explanation for all beliefs and all power. Then is this female magician, adorers of the swine, and whose enchantments are destroyed the moment she falls in love. It is the courtesan of old, the girl of marble of all the eras. The loveless woman absorbs and debases all that touches her. The woman who loves spreads enthusiasm, greatness, and life. Spoken a great deal as an adept of the last century who was accused of charlatanism, and who in his lifetime was named the divine Camioso. We know that he conducted evocations, and that he was surpassed in his art only by the vision of himself. We know that he boasted of binding sympathies, and that he said that he knew the secret of the great work. But what made him even more famous was a certain elixir of life which instantly gave vigor and sap youth to old men. Here, at what face, Malvasian wine was obtained by the distillation of the sperm of certain animals and the juice of several plants. We have the recipe, but I am sure you understand why. 15. Summer, the letter P. Okay? Opposite of your voice. Now enter into the subject of black. We shall face within its veritable sanctuary the black gold of the Sabbath, a formidable joke of many years. Here, those who are fearful should close this book, and persons subject to nervous reactions would do well to distract themselves from things that we have imposed a task upon ourselves, and we shall finish. Begin by dealing with the subject in a frank and bold manner. Does the devil exist? What is the devil? Question. Science is cyberlife. Philosophy denies his existence indiscriminately, and only religion responds in the affirmative. Regarding the second question, religion claims that the devil is a fallen angel. Occult philosophy accepts this and explains this language. Not the people we have already said, but we shall add here a new revelation. Devil, black magic, is the great magical agent used for purposes of evil by a perverse will. The ancient serpent of legend is nothing other than a universal agent. It is the eternal fire of terrestrial life. It is the soul of the earth and the living heart of heaven. They have said that the astral life is the receptacle of hope. To those with reason, these forms of harmony. To those with madness, the sin of disordered and monsters. Such is the cradle of nightmares of St. Anthony and the phantoms of the Sabbath. New avocations of Dorothea and the Romanians of results? Yes, most certainly. Incontestable results become more terrible than those recounted in legends. When we call upon the devil with the required ceremonies, the devil comes. In order not to die, struck down by this vision, in order not to become cataleptic or insane, one must already be crazy. Bondieu was a libertine through impiety, perhaps also through skepticism. Duras was corrupt and a corrupter through enthusiasm, due to his ascetic turmoils and the blindness of his faith. We provide in the 15th chapter of our ritual all the diabolical implications and practices of the devil, not so as to make use, so that we know them, judge them, and so that we can protect ourselves forevermore from such aberrations. Monsieur Edemaville books on the table during the music of the fathers. But we felt happy as unhappy regarding black magic. Indeed, we accept that he does the reality and magnificence of these effects. We also assign to him the same causes he does. The ancient serpent, the prince of the occult of this world. But we are not in agreement as to the nature of this world, which is at the same time, but under different managers, the instrument of all good and of all evil, the servant of the prophets and the inspirer of the protagonistes. In a word, the devil for us is the power used for a period of time in the service of error, just as morbid sin is in our eyes, consistent with will and absurdity.
Hang on. This is so good, Mom.
Okay. I bought you these to put on this, below this part of the foot that needs to be raised. So, yeah,
The
the
socks are just the shoes.
well, no, you could put them underneath your socks.
But
No, not there, in your foot.
uh-huh.
This is, you peel this off, and this is going to go on your,
Shoes.
no, it could go on your
Sock.
sock or
But
anything.
I'm not going to put it on
No,
the sock.
but just use this because you need that pushing out.
Yes,
Yeah, you
Mother.
should use it a lot.
Yes, Mother. As you say, Mother. Don't touch the face. Don't touch the face. Don't touch the face. Oh, I'm so excited to share some psychedelic transmissions. Through. So I'm going to see, I think I'm going to take a little lunch break in a short while. And after that, I'm hoping I can get myself into some costume and makeup and invite her in. And so we can use so much wants to come through. Well, some of my crown rehearsing, my introductory welcome dance. Oh, here's this thing. I love whispering to myself when I make YouTube videos, so that's an interesting thing to notice.
It revealed he is thus right 1,000 times, but he is wrong, very wrong in a single instance.
Okay, this is what goes past.
Excluded from the kingdom
And
of
the really going to help.
Mom, I'm going
Nothing
to use
occurs
them on
either
my
by
shoes,
accident
okay?
or by the autocracy of a
You'll
good or
see.
bad will. There are two chambers in heaven, and the deviations of Satan's tribunal are restrained by the Senate of divine
Use one of these cushions because
Succeed.
today was watching the
I
video show underneath there.
Leather
There's a palace. It's kind of
Oculus. It looks upon woman with impure desire, profanes that woman, said the great minister. What we wish for with dedication, we actually do. All true will is confirmed by acts. All will confirmed by an act is an action. All action is subject to judgment, and that judgment is eternal. These are the doctrines and principles. To these principles and these doctrines, the good or evil that you wish, either upon yourselves or upon others, to the extent of your will and within the sphere of your action, will infallibly occur either to others or to yourself, if you confirm your will and settle upon your determination to acts. The acts must be analogous to the will. The will to harm or to be loved must be to the acts of love or hate. All that which carries the imprint of a human soul belongs to that soul. All which a man appropriates in any manner becomes his body, in the largest sense of the word, and that which is done to the body of a man is felt, whether indirectly or directly, through his soul. It is for this reason that every type of hostile action toward another is regarded by most as the beginning of a homicide. Attachment is homicide, and it is the homicide that is all the more cowardly since it eludes the right of defense of the victim and the vengeance of the law. Principle being established for the satisfaction of our conscience, and in order to ward off the weak, we affirm fearlessly that enchantment is possible. Go further and affirm that not only is it possible, but in a certain way necessary and inevitable. It occurs ceaselessly in the social world, unbeknownst to both those who perform it and those who suffer from it. Involuntary enchantment is one of the most terrible dangers of human life. The sympathy of the passions necessarily submits the most ardent desire to the strongest will. Moral sicknesses are more contagious than physical ones, and there are fads and fashions of success is comparable to leprosy or cholera. Die from a bad acquaintance as if it were a contagious contact, and the horrible malady that, during the last few centuries in Europe, has punished the profanation of the mysteries of love, is a revelation of the analogical laws of nature, and represents only a weakened image of the moral corruption which results every day from dubious symptoms. Speaks of a jealous and cowardly man who, to avenge himself upon a rival, voluntarily infected himself with an incurable illness, and makes of it a mutable bane and the anathema of a shared day. This horrible story is that of every magician, or rather every sorcerer who practices enchantment. He poisons himself in order to poison. He damns himself in order to torture. He inhales hell to exhale it. He injures himself until death in order to kill. But if he has the unfortunate courage, it is definite and certain that he will poison and kill the projection of his perverse will. Artists love which kill as easily as hate, and the enchantments of benevolence or torture for the wicked. Prayers addressed to God in the hopes of converting a man, bringing misfortune upon him if he does not wish to convert. It is, as we have already mentioned, tiring angels to fight against fluidic currents, excited by chains and hypnotic wills. There are thus two types of enchantments: involuntary enchantment and voluntary enchantment. Also distinguish between physical enchantment and moral enchantment. Strength attracts strength, life attracts life, good health attracts good health. It is a law of nature. Children live together and especially even sleep together. And if one is weak and one is strong, the strong one will absorb the weak one, and the weak one will waste away. That is why it is important that children always sleep separately. In boarding schools, certain students absorb the intelligence of other students, and in any circle of men, one always finds one individual is the almost absolute power in the determination of its actions and the influence of all, because the natural forces, not ignorant and solitary people, act without being weakened by any doubts or diversions. A frank hatred, absolute and without any mix of unrequited passions and personal cupidity, is the kiss of death, is their object in certain given conditions. Without any mix of amorous passion or cupidity, because a desire, or attraction, counterbalances and
I had
annuls the
thought
power
when I was
of
thinking about putting a standing desk
the rest
here
of
up
us will
on
never
top of here, but
just
I'm not gonna, if I'm gonna go in
the
there.
air will not be
Oh,
dense
okay.
like this one.
Is there
The
stuff
number
in
of
there?
days left
Not
and
really.
wisely hardened.
The other thing is in the dining room bedroom,
Uh-huh.
there's a metal rack. I don't know if you want it right here.
I mean, I think we should, right now I'm just trying to clear the space
Yeah.
and then I think leaving that there. I was gonna, this is what I was gonna put up to right now. And either put it in the dirty laundry or put this thing I was gonna put.
I wonder if you moved the desk over, if you'd have access to this better.
Well, that's why I was thinking this, because I don't think that I'm ever gonna wanna use the desk.
Uh-huh.
But I think I'm just clearing the space and I'm going through this stuff.
Okay.
And I wanna put my stuff in there.
Okay.
And just move out of this room.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Tempted under these conditions, fall back upon those who perform them, and the more salutary than noxious to the person who is their object, because he is freed from their fateful action, which destroys itself too much enthusiasm. Word, so very energetic, and almost admirably expresses in the bold which is natural, in a manner of speaking, and enveloping someone in a bound, in a formula of wish. From another chapter is none other than the greatest magical virtues, which, under the influence of malicious will, truly and positively becomes demonic. Properly speaking, evil spells, that is to say, a ceremonial performance with the object of enchantment, act only upon the performer, and serve to fix and confirm his will by formulating it with perseverance and effort, the two conditions which render the efficacious. The performance is difficult to perform, the more effective it is, because it acts more fully upon us during antiquity and Middle Ages. Satanic masses, sacraments administered to reptiles, spilling of blood, giving of sacrifices, and other monstrosities, which are the essence of the reality of goetia and necromancy. Such practices, which have attracted on sorcerers the just profession of the law. Simply a combination of sacrilege and progressive murder, whose goal is to forever perfect the human and to produce in a man the hideous family of the devil. Thus, properly speaking, the religion of the devil, the cult of the shadows, the hatred of the good brought to its climax. It is the incarnation of devil, permanent creation. The capitalist Funday, and no other motive in writing is monolith, and the need to guard minds against the overextensions of the initiated the study of the Kabbalah and the true secrets of magic. He trembled at the thought of the dangers to which society would be exposed by way of this knowledge if it were left in the hands of the wickedness of men. He thus attempted that which Monsieur Dubuque, who is still alive, is also just done. He gathered the facts without explaining them, and announced to the system, inattentive or else preoccupied, the existence of occult influence. Proudhon was ignored at this time, and so was Monsieur Dubuque, because it is not enough to indicate the phenomenon while presupposing the cause in order to impress seriously. That cause must be studied, explained, and proven to exist, and that is our task here. Will we be more successful? Die from being loved by certain beings just as much as absorbing passions under whose influence we feel weakened. Because not only the wicked are good, without knowing it, the good will to the wicked. Abel's kindness, the long and painful philosophy, hatred of the good among weak men, derives from the instinct force of violence. Incidentally, they deny that what torments them is good, and endeavor, for their peace of mind, to deify and justify it. Abel, in the eyes of Cain, was a hypocrite, a coward, who dishonored human dignity through his scandalous submissiveness to the divinity. Much was his first murderer suffered for coming to that terrible assault on his brother. If Abel had been able to understand him, he would have been killed. But he is nothing other than a presentment of a possible enchantment. An enchantment which could be of love or of hatred, as we often see love following after. The astral light warns us of influences to come by acting upon a more or less sensitive and more or less aware nervous system. The instantaneous sympathies of sudden love or explosions of astral light set in motion just as exactly and no less mathematically explainable and demonstrable as strong electrical discharges. See from this how many unforeseen dangers menace the profane play unceasingly with fire, with a gunpowder they do not see, saturated with astral light, and they project it unceasingly to make room for more and to attract more. The nervous apparatus destined either for attraction or for projection are in particular the eyes and the hands. The polarity of the hands resides in the thumb, and it is for this reason, according to the tradition, still kept in the countryside, that one must, when one finds oneself in suspect company, hold one's thumb folded, hidden behind the hand, while refusing to stare at anyone, but trying to be the first to look upon those from whom he has something to do, so as to avoid horrific projections and mesmerizing looks. So exist certain animals whose property is to break the currents of the astral light through an ability for absorption. These animals are violently intimidating and have a look in their eyes which is mesmerizing, such as the toad, the basilisk, and the fawn. Animals, guarantee hallucinations and the illusions of astral intoxication. Astral intoxication, word was accurate and which explains all the phenomena related to wild passions, mental elation. To raise codes and dogs might be a disciple of old Jones. Carry them around with you and write no more. To which I would respond that I would consider that most seriously when I felt disposed to laugh, at which I know nothing of, and to treat We does mad those men whose science and wisdom Alice, greatest of Christian believers, countered enchantments like human contrary. He made up sympathetic remedies and applied them not to the suffering limbs, but to the representations of those same things formed, consecrated, ordained, ceremonial, successfully phenomenal. And never has any doctor gotten close to achieving the same success as the wise students. The Paracelsus had discovered magnetism most and pushed it to its limits this marvelous discovery, or rather this initiation into the natural dimensions, who understood more than us the great magical agent, and who did not think of the astral life of the universal magnesia of the saints as a particular animal fluid so eminent. The cult philosophy Paracelsus used whose terrible power he was certainly aware of, but his practices he wished to disparage so as to discredit his black magic. He places the omnipotence of the mage in the true and occult practice, and the skillful magnetizers of our day in sacred magic. However, Paracelsus wants us to use magic, and more importantly, counsel, in order to cure madness. We will have cause to come back to the subject regarding Paracelsus and fallacies in our 18th chapter. We touched upon the great question of occult, iconography, and numismatics. Also, cure an enchantment by substitution, when that is possible, through the rupture or the diversion of the astral current. The customs in the countryside are most admirable, and most certainly customs of art. The other remains of the teachings of Druids, who had been initiated into the mysteries of Egypt by wandering heretics. Well then, the popular magic, that of enchantment, which is to say, a determined and confirmed will, always obtains its desired effect, and that it cannot be recanted without death. Someone who delivers someone from charm must have another object for his malice. For it is certain that he himself will be struck and die, a victim to his own. The movement is circular, all azotic or magnetic initiatives, which do not encounter their medium, very powerfully to their point of departure, which explains one of the strangest stories of any sacred book. They were demons, this mortifying initiation was nothing other than the rupture of an infected magnetic current by evil willpowers. And Legion, said the instinctive voice, for we are many. Quick possessions are nothing other than enchantments. And innumerable quantities of possessions. A simply religious man who devotes himself to service of the same, has managed through long experience and constant practice of leadership virtues to cure many patients, and without knowing it, he practices the magnetism of those. He attributes most of his maladies to disorders of the will or the perverse influence of foreign ways.
I want to
He
know.
sees all crime as acts of folly, and would like us to keep them with his patients, rather than exciting them and rendering them even more incurable under the pretext of punishment. How much time will pass before further finally all is recognized as a man of peace? And how many serious men in reading this
The person who's saying it, no, the person who wrote it was French, I think, Eliphas Levi.
and not if you do not
I don't think he's British. Does he sound British too?
Yet he returns. So cried Galileo,
Yeah, he has a kind of an accent. It
you
might not
shall
be good.
recognize the truth, and the truth shall set you free, says the Savior of man. You, my dad, you will love justice. And justice
I'm making some good progress. I'm almost done.
provides his voice and even the body. True virtue is guaranteed. Bits of ceremonial ritual times and the people. All men a part of this, the domination find within themselves practices without even calculating for precisely or easily in their order. They follow the instinctive inspirations of the great ages, which assimilate marvelously, as we have often said, into our vices and virtues. We can say that, in general, we are under the power of the wills of others, with the analogy of our desires, and most of all through our vices. But all the weaknesses of the individual is to seize hold of him and make of him an instrument corresponding in kind, same errors, and same passions. Yet when two analogical natures of error subordinate themselves to one another, there is created a sort of substitution of the weakest by the strongest, and a veritable obsession of one mind by the other. Often the weaker one struggles and wishes to rebel, but then falls lower than the other ones. It was in this way that Louis XV fought against fishermen, and then obtained grace of the sort by abandoning his account. All have a ruling vice, which is for our soul like the umbilical cord that is birthed from sin, and it is through it that the enemy can always grab hold of us. It is vanity for some, laziness for others, egoism for others. Cunning and wicked mind makes use of you then become not mad, not idiotic, but positively alien, using the full meaning of this expression, that is to say, subject to a foreign influence. In this state, you feel instinctive horror for anything that would bring you back to reason, and you do not even want to hear of representations which are contrary to your reason. It is one of the most dangerous sicknesses which can affect human morale. The only remedy to this insanity is to seize upon natural purity, and to force the patient to find imaginary satisfactions in the contrary order to the ones to which he is lost himself. Thus one can, for example, cure a power-hungry person by having him desire the glories of heaven. Cure a depraved person who cure out naturally. Provide honorable success to a vain person. Show selflessness to an avaricious person, and provide them with a just profit in the generous endeavor. Acting in this manner upon
Mom, I have a stool right here.
a great number of physical maladies, because morals influence the physical by virtue of the magical accident. That which is above is like that which is below. It is for this reason that the Master said, in speaking of a paralytic woman, Satan has a family. This often comes from the vice or an abuse. You will always find a source of physical illness and moral disorder. It is an inherent law of nature.
Hold on.
17. K. The letter R. Astrology. Stellar. False. In praxis. All the arts arising from ancient Zoroastrianism, astrology is now the most misunderstood. We no longer believe in the universal harmony of nature and the necessary link between all effects. True astrology,
I think so.
the kind which is
Urinary
related to the
incontinence
universal doctrine of
diapers.
was profaned by the Greeks and the Romans. The doctrine of the seven heavens, the nobiles, the primordial emanations of the prince spheres, the characters
it's
of the
all
planets governed
diapers.
by the angels, whose names were changed.
Maybe
from
there's
the
one.
divinities of pagans. The influence of the spheres upon each other, the destinies attributed to the numbers, the proportional scale between the celestial hierarchies that correspond to human hierarchies. All this is materialized and rendered into superstition by the decadent leaders and interpreters of the naval horoscopes in the Middle Ages. To bring astrology back to its primitive purity, in a sense, requires the creation of an entirely new science. Let us simply attempt to investigate the main horoscopes among the pillars of evil and imminent consequences. Observe that the astral light receives and conserves all the imprints of physical matter, the result of which is that the daily disposition of the stars
Mommy, are
is
you
reflected
okay?
in its light. This, being the principal agent of affects conception, the embryo, and the birth of infants. The series of predestined to that lineage? Are you faced with the visible imprints of the fantasies or delights of the mother? There is even stronger reason to believe that it transmits to uncertain input, atmospheric impressions, and the diverse influences of a particular mood. On the
I'll leave it in here for now.
Yeah, this causes a big mess.
Okay. It was for that. Let me know when you want to show me how to use it. I want to know how to use it, and I want you to show me. Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Got that at like Big Lots or something. Or one of those. You think I'd want to be vibrated? It looks like it's supposed to. Does it heat?
I don't know. Well, wait a minute. It's zippers. So I think it's for the thighs.
No. It looks like it zippers to be like a pillow.
Oh.
Can I try it? Mm-hmm. What do you think is in this pocket here? Is this where the vibrator is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I found the pins in it. Yeah, try it to me. If it's a pillow, you fold it the other way.
Well, there's this. So I think the idea is that there's a couple different ways you can use it. You
Uh-huh.
can use it like a pillow like this. It's nice. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Are you getting tired?
Can you roll it up?
You want to see
but
it.
I'm working slowly.
You're
and
taking it easy
enjoying
and
it.
enjoying
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
That's what we learned from that organizer,
That's right.
and we're trying it on.
Mhm.
It's like this, I guess. And then, oh, there's multiple different ways you can zip
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, that probably would be a really nice pillow.
Oh God, that feels good on my leg.
I bet you could put it around your calf too, you know.
Maybe. You know, I don't want to be a naysaying Nelly kind of thing, but I don't know. I just really
I
don't
like
know.
the one of the zippers on the gold.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I guess it would fit around your calf, your lower part of your leg.
Yeah.
That could be nice.
You see how it is in
Oh yeah. I didn't think I liked this, but now I do.
Yeah, and then you can put it in your lid back too. I'll leave you to your experimentation. How's that? Mm-hmm.
Mommy, if you ever want to say anything else with me, oh, what do you want to go up the top there?
On the top of there? Oh, I don't know. I'll have to think about it as I'm doing that. Do you have any ideas?
Not at this time. I mean, I could put all the sheets in a box somewhere. Oh, it would be interesting to see if this box fits up there. Hang on a second, I'm going to get it. I just need to sit for a minute. Do you know what that's like when you need to sit for a minute?
Because usually I want to just do everything quickly.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm just, I found the thing that we bought when we were traveling to Europe. It's an air thing, but it's used for muscle testing.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
This is called oximeter. Do you have it too, or you put it in?
I don't know. Oh gosh. I don't know if you know what it feels like sometimes. Yeah, combination. Edward Hyman, Los Angeles. Yeah, I mean, if you want me to help put something there, I can, but we'll just patiently see what if we find out what it is. Have you figured out your area where you're? Okay. Did you get this for the wraps, the body wraps?
Probably,
It's a little tight. It is cute. I was thinking, I feel like it would be good for psychodelicate. Mom?
Their planetary system, and from one or another more particular thing is indifferent. A stone, more or less, although great or profoundly modify the destinies of the greatest men. There is even stronger reason to believe the position of one star or another in the sky could not be indifferent to the destiny of the child who is born, and who, by his birth, enters into the same universal harmony as the astral world. The stars are linked to one another by a constant that keep them in equilibrium and regularly cause them to
No. Just telling you that
networks
does
of
it work?
light travel from all the spheres to all the spheres. And there is no single point on any planet which is not connected to this indestructible. The precise place, time, and birth must therefore be calculated by a true adept in astrology. Then, he has made the exact calculation of the astral influences. He must count the probabilities of state. That is to say, the facilities or obstacles that the child will find one day in his condition, in his parents, in the temperament he received from them, and, in consequence, in his natural tendencies for the accomplishment of his destiny. This, the astrologer must take into account human liberty and initiative. If the child manages one day to become a true man and extract himself from courageous will, influences, and the chain of destiny. You can now see that we do not give too much credit to astrology, but also that what we believe is incontestable. It is scientific and magical calculation of the probabilities. Astrology is as old as, or even older than,
Definition of
and all
why
the visionary
astrology
sages of
works.
antiquity. Thus, one must not carelessly condemn and reject that which comes to us, surrounded and supported by such imposing authorities. Long and patient observation, conclusive comparison, and oft repeated experiments must have brought the ancient sages to their conclusions. And one must, if one pretends to believe them, begin the same work all over again in the contrary direction. Paracelsus was perhaps the last of the great practical astrologers. He cured the sick with talismans created under the influence of the stars, and recognized in all bodies the mark of their dominance. And it was this, according to him, which was true universal medicine, the absolute science of nature, lost due to the errors of man, and rediscovered only by a small number of additions. To recognize the sign of each star in men, in animals, and plants is the true natural science of science. That science which is said to be lost, but its principles are, however, again, like all of us, in the symbolism of the covenant. Understand that to read the writing of the stars, one must know the stars themselves. Know what is attained by the Kabbalistic gamification of the sky, and by the intelligence of the Kabbalistic planisphere, as we discovered and explained by Gabriel. In this planisphere, the constellations form Hebrew letters, and the mythological figures can be replaced by the symbols of the pharaoh. It is to this very planisphere that Gabriel attributes the origin of the writing of the paper. And they had found in the chains of attraction between the stars the first outlines of the primordial intelligence. The book of the heavens thus served as a model for Enoch. The Kabbalistic alphabet was a summary of the entire sky. The above does not lack in either poetry or, more important, in probability and study of the primordial hieroglyphic book of Enoch, as have been real suffices. Science imprinted in the astral body by the reflection and the attraction of the stars is reproduced was discovered by the same. In all bodies which are formed with the participation of this. Men carry the signs of their star on their foreheads, and most of all on their hands. Animals, in their entire form, and in their particular form. Plants reveal them in leaves, seeds, minerals in their veins and in their level of pliability. The study of these characteristics is the work of an entire lifetime, and his figures and talismans are the result of his research. But he did not provide the key, and the Kabbalistic astral alphabet with its correspondence is incomplete. The science of unconventional magical writing is rested within the public domain, the capital class. The assorted divination rests entirely upon the knowledge of these signs. Pyromancy, the art of reading the writing of the stars in the lines of the hand, and metaposcopy with the same characters in the foreheads of those who consult them. In effect, the lines formed on the human face due to nervous contractions are determined by destiny, and the influence of the nervous is absolutely analogous to the network formed between worlds and the chains of attraction between the stars. The deeds of life are thus necessarily written on our lines, and we often recognize at first glance in the forehead one or more mysterious letters from the Kabbalistic premise. This letter represents a thought system, and those thoughts must dominate the existence of this man. If the mark is trouble and has difficulty outlining itself, there is a battle in him between his destiny and his will, and his emotions and strongest tendencies, his entire path is revealed to the message. The future is then easy. And if at times events mislead the wisdom of the divine entity, the patient nonetheless remains impressed and convinced of the superhuman science of it. The head of man is based on the model of the celestial spheres. It attracts and emits, and it is the head which, when the child is conceived, is formed and manifests itself first. It is thus affected in an absolute manner by the astral influences, and its numerous protuberances are witnessed to diverse attractions. Technology, science, problem specifications, and faith must thus find its final solution in a purified and scientific response. In astronomy, the sun drives and the moon imitates. According to the Kabbalists, the sun represents strict justice, and the moon sympathetic mercy. It is the sun which creates storms. It is the moon which, literally fraught with spirit pressure, raises and lowers the sea. We read in the Zohar, one of the great sacred books of the Kabbalists, that the magical serpent, son of the sun, will devour the world, and the sea, daughter of the moon, puts her foot down on its head and subjugates it.
Oh, wow.
For this reason, that the
They're talking about the
Venus was the
serpent
daughter of the sea,
and the daughter.
just as Diana was identified with the moon. In this for description, the name Mary signifies star of the sea, or solstice. It was because of trade this Kabbalistic doctrine was in the belief of the vulgar that it was said in prophetic language. It is woman who must crush the head of the sea. Uomo Cardano, one of the boldest of seekers, and undeniably the most skilled astronomer of his time. Girolamo Cardano, who was, if they believe the legends surrounding his death, a martyr to his faith and astronomy, left us a calculus with which each of us can predict good or bad fortune for all the years of our life. His theory rests upon his own experiments, and he claims that his calculations have never been wrong. To know what one's fortune will be in a particular year, one summarizes the events of those that preceded it by 4, 8, 12, 19, and 30. The 4 is the sun. Number 8 for the Venus of Master. Number 12, which is that of the cycle of Jupiter, corresponds to success. Number 19 corresponds to the cycles of the Moon and Mars. Number 30 is of Saturn. For example, if I wish to know what will happen I will go over in my memory what real and decisive things have happened to me regarding the progress of life 4 years ago, what I experienced of happiness, natural unhappiness, 8 years ago, what I had in terms of successes and failures 12 years ago, the vicissitudes that occurred to me 19 years ago, and what happened to me, which was sad and fated 30 years ago. Then, taking into consideration those facts that are irrevocably accomplished and the progress of age, I rely upon the probabilities analogous to those which I already attribute to the influence of the plant. And I say, in 1851, I had occupations which were moderately but sufficiently lucrative, along with several difficulties regarding my position. In 47, I was violently separated from my family. The result of this separation was great suffering for me and mine. In 1843, I traveled as an apostle, speaking to people who were being persecuted by men of bad intentions. In 2 words, I was honored with the lastly, in 1825, I left them, and I set upon the fatal course which brought me to science and misfortune. I can thus conclude that this people, I will have worked, experience poverty and trouble, have an exile of the heart, experience a change of vocation, publicity and affection, and there will occur an event which will decide the rest of my existence. And I already find all kinds of reasons in person which lead me to believe in this. I conclude that for me, in this present field, experience perfectly confirms the position of the astrological competence of person. Incidentally, this calculation has to do with the climacteric, or the greater climacteric, the ancient astrology. Climacteric means arranged in levels or calculated according to the degrees of space. Johannes Topenius, in his book on the 7 secondary causes, very curiously estimated the return for all the internal. We shall provide an exact and clear analysis of that same book in the 21st chapter of our ritual, with a continuation of the work of Topenius and the application of the magical scale to contemporary events, in order to deduce the most striking probabilities relative to the near future of France, Europe, and the world. To all the great masters of astronomy, the comets, the stars of the substance only disappear to announce great changes. Time has presided over collections of beings and modified the destinies of aggregations of men. The stars, further and deeper, affect individuals and determine their fate. But as a group of stars, over the entire destiny of a man, and often a great number of souls are attracted by the distant rays of the same sun. We die. Our interior light takes leave according to the attraction of the star, and it is thus that we can be reborn in other universes. Its home makes itself reoccurring, analogous to the progress or decrease of our souls, separated from our bodies, resemble shooting stars. They are globules of animated light, which are only in order to rediscover the equilibrium on the moon. But they must first of all free themselves from the rays of the surface, which is to say, the impure astral light which surrounds and captivates them as long as the power of their will does not raise them above. The immersion of the living star in the dead light is a terrible notion, comparable to that of the century. The soul freezes and burns there at the same time, and has no means to free itself except to re-enter the current of exterior form and take on a natural flesh, and to then fight energetically against the instincts in order to strengthen its moral liberty that will allow it to fail, break the chains, fly up triumphantly towards the conserving star with light smiles. Given this fact, we can understand what the fires of hell are. They are identical to the demon of the ancient serpent. This is of what the salvation and the damnation of them consists, all of whom are called in successively elected, but in small numbers, after having been exposed by their own fault to fall into the eternal fire. If the great sublime revelations of nature revelatory mother of all symbols, all doctrines, all. Already see how much he was in error when he believed that all the religions arose so. It was on the astrology that gave birth to astronomy. And primordial astrology is one of the branches of the science of sciences and the religion of religion. Also see on the 17th page of the tarot an admirable allegory. A naked woman who represents all that once truth, nature, and wisdom, without a veil, bending towards the earth over 2 urns out of which she pours water. Above her head shines a starry sepulchre above which is a star with 8 rings, 7 similarly. Around this woman there grow the planets of the earth, and on one of these planets has just landed the butterfly, emblem of the soul, replaced in several copies of the sacred book by a bird, a more Egyptian symbol. This figure, which in the modern tarot carries the title of Shining Star, is analogous to many unhappy symbols, and has some similarities with the flaming star of the initiates of Freemasonry, which expresses the majority of the mysteries of secret doctrines of the religion. And T, W, the letter S, speaking of yeah, Syrian, now deal with the most criminal abuse of magic science, that is, the use of magic for sorcery. Here we must understand what we are writing about, not the teaching of the prohibition. The human justice striking out only ever attacks necromancers, poisoning sorcerers. It is certain, as we have already remarked, that their harshness would have been just, and the most severe intimidation could never be overly excessive in regard to such things. However, one must not believe that the power of life and death, which secretly belongs to the man, has always been used to satisfy some cowardly revenge, or an even more cowardly ridiculous. Believers, is a magical societies like this one now, the revealers of the profane of the mysteries. When they have to avoid striking with a magical sword, and spilling the blood with fear. The aqua Tufana, the aromatic bouquet, the shirt of Nessus, and other lesser known and strange influences of death serve to no other in the execution of the terrible sentences. But if there exists within magic a great and unspeakable arcana, which is never communicated with human beings, and that most of all, one must prevent the fading past, whether revealed or caused others to discover the keys of discipline or arcanum through imprudent revelations was immediately condemned to death and was often forced to execute himself. Kazak's infamous prophetic dinner, written about by Lacan, has not yet been understood, and the art of telling it yielded to the rather natural desire to marvelously read it by exaggerating. All the men present, with the exception were initiates and revealers, or, famous, Kazak, in the high rank, and all the others in the announced the sentence of death over them in the name of illuminism, and this sentence was diversely but rigorously executed as all the other similar sentences. Not on any century against the idea of
The what?
and Seneca. And those revolutionary philosophers, as lost in the body, died just as they ought to have, abandoned in the position, settling chaos, as the imprudent sculptor killed himself in the midst of his magical brightness and the universal enthusiasm. Kotzebue, the deserter, stabbed by Tom Sand, and so many others who established the town without anyone ever finding out the cause of their suffering and bloody deaths. Remember the strange speech the president of the Revolutionary Party addressed to the Brooklyn Town, thus condemning the history of the brotherhood. After the terrible drama of '93, it's still keeping the dark century who had up to fake emancipated. Other adepts who belonged to an chosen sect and were related to more ancient traditions provided a terrible opposition by means analogous to those of their adversaries. They rendered the practice of great enemy. The masses understood nothing. They defied everything and fell in the spirit lower than they had wanted to learn. Without Canaan, laying unknown only the act neutralized by one another could not exercise the power to dominate others or to deliver themselves. They thus mutually condemn themselves as traitors and drag one another into exile. The dagger. Well as the perhaps even nowadays terrible dangers still threaten to the short sanctuary or the revealers of the arcane. Why should I answer to this deluded curious? If I expose myself to a violent death to teach them, they would certainly not try to save me. And if they are afraid for themselves, then they should abstain from all imprudent investigations. That is what I can tell them. Now we think Robert D. Moore, in his novel The Council reveals some of the practices of this religion. I will not repeat his sad theories about farming, not poison plants. Animals fed with poisonous plants develop unhealthy flesh, and when they are used as food for humans, cause death without the not saying how, through venomous nutrients, we can poison the walls of houses, and the air which becomes breathable again, only through fumigation, requiring the operator to wear the glass mask of the Holy Cross. We will leave these mysterious abominations to the ancient and ancient. We shall not examine how far the infernal rites of Sadhana help protect the arts of the custom. Why is this the same? These malefactors of the worst type distill together poisons and contagious sicknesses, the venom of reptiles and the harmful sap from plants. But they took the toxic and narcotic fluids from fungi, and they took from ginseng weed its asphyxiating principle. From the peach tree, cherry laurel that took that poison, it with a single drop placed on the tongue, or in the ear strikes you down like lightning, and kills even the most healthy and strongest of the beings. They took the white sap of the tigamalus with milk and with vipers and asps and drowned. They carefully gathered and brought back from their voyages, or imported a great quality, sap of the mansion, or the deadly fruit of Java. And those
Mommy, is this yours?
pulverized flints and mixed impure ashes with the dried slime of reptiles. They composed hideous potions from the effluents of excited mares, or the secretions of dogs and sheep. Human blood was mixed with vile drugs, and with this was created an oil, still to smell alone. It reminds me of one of Hanerge's Botonian kind. They even wrote recipes for poisons, while disguising them with technical terms from alchemy, and in more than one so-called old
So interesting, isn't it? Are you
the
listening
powder
to
of protection is nothing other than powder
It's hard to hear.
in the Grand Grimoire. You can still find them less disguised than the others. They're titled only Means of Making Gold. It is a horrible brew, verdigris, vitriol, arsenic, and sawdust, which will, if it is good, immediately consume a branch which one gets into, and rapidly dissolve an iron main. Pista della Forte, in his Magia Naturalis, gives a recipe for the poison of the forges, but as you might imagine, he makes fun of his readers and does not divulge the entire truth, or should have been much too dangerous. He will thus provide for his recipe here, if only to satisfy the appearance of our Ode, on its own, is not venomous, but it acts as a sponge for poison. It is the mushroom of the uneaten. Take a large toad and close it in a jar with vipers and asps. Give them as their only food over several days poisonous mushrooms, foxglove, and hemlock. Then aggravate them by feeding them, burning them, and by tormenting them in all kinds of manners until they die of rage and hunger. You then sprinkle a slag of lead crystal around together with euphorbium, after which you put them in a well-salted liquid and heat it over a fire until all the humidity is absorbed, after which you allow it to cool. You separate the ashes of the corpses from the incombustible particles that will have remained at the bottom of the fire. You will then have two processes, one in liquid and one in powder. The liquid will be as effective as the terrible opposite one. The powder will wither or age someone who has been exposed into the added to the drink and then they will die while suffering horribly for eternal agony. One must admit that this recipe's magical aspect is most utterly laughable, and it reminds one in a heart-wrenching manner of the abominable recipes of the Egypt and the Buddha. Kids of the Middle Ages claimed to receive similar powders during the Sabbath, and sold them at high prices to ignorance and age. It was through the rumor of similar mysteries they spread terror throughout the countryside and managed to cast the spells. Once imagination is free, once the nervous system is attacked, the victim perishes quickly, and the terror of their friends and family completes this tradition. The witch is almost always a kind of human thing, all spelled out with old legends. Which is the poor, rejected by all, and in consequence filled with hatred. The fear which they inspired was their consolation and their revenge. They themselves, poisoned by a society of which they had only ever experienced rejection and disgraces, poisoned in their turn those who were weak enough to fear them, and who took revenge upon beauty and youthfulness with their cursed old age and unpardonable ugliness. Inspiration of these evil works and the accomplishment of these hideous mysteries constituted and confirmed that which we call act of evil spirit. It is certain that the operator must have been possessed by evil, body and soul, and justifiably deserved universal and irrevocable condemnation as expressed by the allegory of hell. That human souls had descended to such a degree of wickedness at the century must no doubt astonish and be impressive. Must there not exist the depths as a foundation for the heights of the most sublime virtues? And does not the abyss of the hells demonstrate through antithesis the elevation and infinite grandeur of heaven? Or, for the instincts are more compressed and hardened. In Italy, the passions and offensive hardened. They still fear Spain and evil eye. In Naples, they do not brave the Jettatura recklessly, and they even recognize being feebly endowed with this power by certain external signs. To protect oneself, one must carry horns on one's person, say the experts. And the people who take everything literally hasten to adorn themselves with little horns without thinking more about the meaning of this allegory. Horns, attributes of Jupiter, Ammon, Bacchus, and Moses, were the symbol of moral power or enthusiasm. And the magicians used to say that to brave the Jettatura, one must dominate with great audacity, great enthusiasm, or great thought, the fatal currents of the instincts. It is thus that almost all popular superstitions are proclaimed repetitions of some great axiom or marvelous argument of occult wisdom. Pythagoras, in writing down his admirable symbols, bequeathed to the sages a perfect philosophy, and to the vulgar a new series of vain observances and ridiculous practices. Thus, when he said, "Do not gather what falls from the table, do not cut trees in the great road, do not kill the serpent that has gotten into your enclosure," was he not providing transparent allegories for the precepts of charity, either social or individual? And when he said, "Do not look at yourself in the," was this not an ingenious manner of teaching true knowledge of the self, which cannot exist in artificial life and the prejudices of systems? The case for all of Pythagoras' other precepts, which, as we know, were followed to the letter by a whole mass of imbecilic disciples, to the point that, among the superstitious observances of our provinces, there remains a rather large number that obviously originate from the primordial intelligence of Pythagoras' seed. The word superstition derives from a Latin word which signifies survives thought. It is the cadaver of religious practice. Superstition is the initiation What the idea of the devil is that it's dumb. It is in this sense that the cult of images is forbidden, and that a doctrine that is most holy in its first conception then becomes superstitious and impious when it is bereft of inspiration. It is then that religion, always one like supreme reason, changes vestments and abandons the ancient rites to stupidity and the deceit of fallen priests metamorphosed by their wickedness and their ignorance into charlatans and temple soothsayers. Compare superstitions to magical emblems and characters whose meaning is no longer understood, and which being engraved haphazardly upon amulets and talismans. Little images of the ancients were, that is to say, Kabbalistic synthesis. The wheel of Pythagoras is a principle which is analogous to the wheels of Ezekiel. Those two figures express the same secrets and the same philosophy to all the things we have already studied. Animals are more precisely humans, are identical to the admirable Indian symbol and which has to do with the sign of John, in his book of Revelation, copied and amplified and all the monstrous figures in this book are so many magical principles to which Kabbalists easily find the key. The Christians, having rejected the science and their desire to amplify the faith, later wished to hide the origins of their doctrine and condemned to the fires all the books of the Kabbalah and of magic. To destroy the origins is to lend a certain originality to the copies. And St. Paul no doubt knew this well when, no doubt with the best intentions in mind, he carried out his auto de fe of knowledge. Thus, that 6 centuries later, the believer Omar had to sacrifice the Library of Alexandria to the originality of the creed. And who knows whether in time to come some future apostle will wish to learn our literary museums and confiscate the printed pages in the some prejudice. The talismans and tentacles is one of the most curious varieties and is related to historical numismatics. There exist in Indian, Egyptian, and Greek times Kabbalistic endowments coming from the ancient and modern Hebrew, the Gnostic, the Braxton, and Byzantine emblems. Called coins in use among the members of secret societies, and sometimes called tokens of the service. And then there are the medallions of the temple and the jewels of the Freemasons. Phineas, in his treatise on the marvels of nature, describes Solomon's talismans and those of Rabbi Shach. There's of a great many others, including some of the most ancient, were engraved in the magical calendars of Tycho Brahe under Chantal, and have been reproduced in totality in the initiatory calendars that are still at home. A vast scholarly work we recommend. 19. Another key. Good philosophers. Electronics. Field. Soul. Since adored the sun.
Yeah.
Stone. They call electronics or heliotrope. Significant. And how could it be the symbol of the most brilliant stone? People that are used for commissary of long life, for the powder or projection, recommended that they search for the philosopher's stone. But why this stone? The initiator of the Christians invited his faithful to build upon the stone if they did not wish to see their works of He called himself Cornerstone, and he told the most believing of the apostles, call yourself here, because you are the pier upon which I shall build my church. Stone, says the Masters of Alchemy, is a true salt of the philosophers, which is 1/3 of the composition of Azoth. But Azoth is, as we know, the name of the great hermetical agent in the true philosophers. The alchemists also represent their souls in the form of a two books of stone can observe in the 12 schools of Festivus of Longinus, or in the allegories of Trevisan. Human truth is this stone. It is the foundation of absolute philosophy. It is supreme and immovable reason. Before contemplating the metallurgical work, one must forever be fixed upon the absolute principles of reason. One must possess a reason which is the touchstone of truth. Never will a biased man be the king of nature and the master of application. The philosopher's stone is thus necessary before all else. But how does one find it? Hermes teaches us how it is eminent happen. One must separate the subtle from the fixed with great care and attention. Thus, we must free our certitudes from our beliefs and render distinct the respective domains of science and faith. We must understand that we do not know things which we believe in, and that we no longer believe in the things which we already know, and that it is the essence of matters of faith that they are unknown and indefinite, while it is the complete contrary for matters of science. We prove that science is based on reason and experience. Faith is based on sentiment and reason. In other words, the philosopher's stone is pretty certain that human prudence ensures through conscientious research and honest doubt, while religious enthusiasm attributes it to faith. Yet it belongs neither to reason without aspirations, nor to aspirations without reason. True certitude is the reciprocal acquiescence of reason, which knows the sentiment which believes, and of sentiment which believes the reason which knows. This alliance of reason and of faith results not in their absolute distinction and separation, but in their mutual control and their fraternal confidence. That is of the two columns of Solomon's Gate, one of which is called Yahin, and the other Boaz, one of which is white and the other black. They are distinct and separate, contrary in appearance. But if blind force wishes to unite them by bringing them together, the temple vault will collapse, because when separated, they have equal strength, while when united, there are two forces which mutually destroy each other. It's for the same reason that spiritual power weakens when it attempts to usurp temporal power, and that temporal power perishes the victim of vacancy, and the charismatic king is lost and will lose the monarchy. Human balance requires 2 feet. The world revolves with 2 forces. Creation requires 2 sexes. The meaning of Solomon's argument, symbolized by the 2 equal columns of heat and loneliness. Sun and the moon of the alchemists correspond to the same symbol and contribute to the perfection and stability of the philosopher's stone. And as the hieroglyphics say of transforming all the vital forces symbolized by the 6 metals into the sun, which is to say, truth and light, the first and indispensable operation of the great work, which brings one to secondary adaptations and which allows the creators of spiritual and living gold, through the analogies of nature, to find the natural and raw gold. It allows the possessors of the true salt to find the true philosophical mercury and sulfur. I, the philosopher's stone, is therefore to have discovered the absolute, as all. Absolute is that which admits to no error. It is the fixed and the volatile. It is the rule of the imagination. It is the necessity of being felt. It is the immutable law of reason and truth. The absolute is what it is. God himself is not without a reason for existing, and can only exist by virtue of a supreme and inevitable reason. It is therefore reason which is the absolute. It is implied idea. He would have found the philosopher's stone, and instead of limiting himself to being the angel of the schools, he would have been there with him. Even a reason for God, and in the God of reason, is to render atheism impossible. Idolaters who created atheists. When Voltaire said, if God did not exist, we would have to invent him. He sensed, rather than understood the reason. And in fact, we only believe in things which seem probable, but which we do not know. To think otherwise is to be delirious. To speak otherwise is to express oneself like a visionary or a fanatic. It is not to these kind of people that the philosopher's stone responds. Many people subverted primordial Christianity from its path by replacing science with faith, experience with dreams, reality with fantasy. The Inquisitors, for so many centuries, made war on magic and managed to cover in shadows the ancient discoveries of the human spirit, so that today we grope about attempting to rediscover the key to the phenomena of nature. All natural phenomena depend upon a single and immutable law, represented by the philosopher's stone and most of all symbolized by its form, that of the cube. Law, expressed in the Kabbalah by the quaternary, had provided the Hebrews with all the mysteries of their divine epiphany. They can thus say that this is, like the celestial Jerusalem of St. John, and written upon one of its sides is the name Shlomo, and on the other of God. On another of its sides is written Adam, and the other Chaf, and then that of Azar, and Imra. Siyer du Moisimi is the spirit of the earth standing on the image, the symbolic head of the goat of Mendes. It is the Baphomet of the temples, the goat of the Sabbath, and the bird of the Gnostics. Strange images which were used as movie names for the vulgar after having been used in their meditations by the sages. Innocent hieroglyphics of thought and faith, which were used as a pretext for the passions of persecution. What unhappy men are in their old age, but how they would despise themselves if they never came to know it. 20. Quraysh, the letter U, the universal medicine. Resurrectio Hercules. Physical maladies derive from moral maladies, according to the unique and universal master doctrine due to the moral maladies. A great passion to which we abandon ourselves always corresponds to a great malady. The deadly sins are called that because they cause one to physically and actually die. Alexander the Great died of pride. He was naturally temperate, abandoned himself to pride, to the excesses which caused death. Francois I died from adultery. Louis XV died because of his proper sin. When Marat was assassinated, he died of anger and envy, and thus he wished to do all that was not Marat. Our contemporaries find the disappointed ambitions of the February Revolution. The wheel is irrevocably confirmed in the absurd tendency. You are dead, and the reed that you shall break yourself upon is not far off. It is thus true to say that wisdom conserves and prolongs life. The great master said, "My flesh is food and my blood is drink. Eat my flesh and drink my blood, and you shall have life." And since the vulgar grumble, he added, "The flesh has no value. Thy spirit life." He therefore wished to say, "Drink of my spirit and live from my life." He was about to die. He bound the memory of his life, the symbol of bread, and that of his spirit, the symbol of wine, and thus instituted a union of faith, of hope, and of charity. In the same sense that the Hermetic Master said, "Render gold drinkable, and you shall have the universal medicine," which is to say, appropriate truth to your needs, so that it becomes the source from which you drink all your days, and you too shall gain the immortality of the sages. Temperance, peacefulness of the soul, simplicity of character, the calm and reason of the will render man not only happy but hearty and strong. It is by becoming reasonable and good that man becomes immortal. We are the authors of our destinies, and God does not save without our participation. It does not exist for the sage. Death is a phantom rendered horrifying by ignorance and vulgar weakness. Change attests to movement. Movement reveals the black. The cadaver itself would not be composed of what we get. All the molecules which compose it remain alive and move within themselves. And you think that the spirit freed itself first so as to no longer live. You believe that thought and love can die when the grossest of matter itself does not die. Change must be called death. We die and are reborn every day, because every day our form changes. Then be afraid of dirtying and tearing our clothes, but let us not fear leaving our resting. Farming and conservation of cadavers is an unnatural superstition. It is an attempt to create death. It is a form of but one must not hasten to destroy or make disappear cadavers because nothing is accomplished abruptly in nature, and we should not risk violently breaking the links of a soul which is still detaching itself. It is never instantaneous. It operates by degrees, like sleep. While the blood is not yet completely cold, while the nerves can still tremble, man is not completely dead. And if none of the organs essential to life are destroyed, the soul can be recalled, either by accident or by strong will. Philosopher said that he would sooner doubt universal testimony than believe in the resurrection of the dead. And in this he spoke imprudently, because it is upon his faith in universal testimony that he believed in the impossibility of resurrection. Resurrection would be proven. What would be the result? That one would have to deny the evidence or renounce reason? It would be absurd to suppose so. One must simply conclude that we have wrongly believed that resurrection is impossible. Actu posse vada consecutive. Now, dare to affirm that resurrection is possible, and even that it happens more often than we think. How many people whose death is juridically and scientifically certified found to be dead, it is true, in their coffins, but have then revived and have gnawed away at their wrists so as to open their veins and thus escape their horrible suffering through a new death. Doctor would tell us that these people were not dead, but were lethargic. But what is lethargy? Well, words, when it is impossible to actually explain things. Form is attached to the body by tendon or force, and can be healed by the will. It means for us to examine here if the abolition of pain is possible, and if it is advantageous to use chloroform or magnetism for surgical for life. We also notice that with persons who are operations are excessively painful. If we repeated sedation or chloroform after each opportunity of dressings, the pain would return continually. Not do violence to nature. Purga. Omnes. The author of this book is often bared in his life, and no fear is ever held his thoughts after that the versus foreign pride. Its division into the word divinus in Latin signifies more and something other than this. Meaning is equivalent to man god. Divin in French contains 4 letters of the word D-I-E-E plus the letter N, which corresponds in its form to the Hebrew letter Aleph, and which expresses Kabbalistically and hieroglyphically the great ultimate, whose symbol in the tarot is the figure of a magician. He who understands perfectly the absolute numerical value of Aleph multiplied by the letter N with the grammatical force of the final N in the words which express science, art, or puissance, and then adds the 5 letters of the word D-E-D to them, and something even more mysterious than that as well. Of prophecies and miracles. To be a prophet, ripples, is to act upon the universal agent and secure it to our will. I'll ask the author of this book if he is curious, may seek out and read all I have written previous to certain events which were then accomplished in this world. As to what I could have said and done if I counted them, and if they were truly miraculous, would you believe me based on my words alone? Emily, one of the essential conditions for divination is to never be forced into it, and to never submit to temptation, or that is to say, a test. The masters of the science never yielded to anyone's curiosity. The Sibyl burnt her books when Tarquinius refused to value them at their true worth. The great master remained silent when they asked him for the signs of his divine. Agrippa died of misery rather than obey those who demanded the horse for him.
No, I just heard it going off, and I'm happy to call it.
Doubt the science itself.
But let me see if I know where I heard it.
Is to profane the gold of the sanctuary. is to merit the excommunication of the sages and the absolute certainty. In religion, the universal secret of faith, composition, composition, the real adaptation of the philosophical motion called azot by the alchemists. The hammocks, it multiplies our strength by those of perpetual motion. It is at once mystical, metaphysical, and material, with correspondences in effect across the three worlds. It obtains the mercy of God, the truth of science, and the gold of breath.
Well,
Meditation is
I hope this has been interesting and of value for you to watch, whoever you are, one viewer. I wonder if, I mean, I don't know. Okay. Someday, someone who's watching will write a comment to me, even if it's just to tell me to stop singing. Ha 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 ha. Look, people, because I got all dressed up for this doesn't mean that I'm not a weirdo. Speaker noises. Speaker noises. Speaker noises. Well, we've got some nice rainbow action. I think this will be, I should remember what time this is. 4 o'clock. Oh, 4 o'clock's a good time. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 p.m. check-in. With Psychodelicate in her rainbow reflection. Girl, 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 girl. I'm getting tired. What else do I want to talk about? Tarot reading. Isn't that an interesting? Okay, so yeah, I think that the other video that I'm gonna do of watching what do you call it? June uh, uh, series is 12 Monkeys. It's been a show. We're just about to watch the finale, the season finale. And Mixed feelings, but the part that when Eliphas Levi was talking about the daughter and the snake, that is highly thematic in the show 12 Monkeys, highly integral to the themes of the show. So it's an interesting thing. Okay. Bye. No, I'm not going to go yet. I love having this. I did such a good job. I know it looks like I was moving really slowly, but for me, that was focused work. And I knew that if I just keep keeping at it, eventually, one of these days, I would get it all figured out. Right? Read. Baby faces for these old guys. Where's all the babies? There's only a couple babies. Gaga goo goo. Gaga goo goo. Can't quite get the. I think that looks pretty weird. Hi. I want to talk to you. We haven't done our yoga and our dancing yet in our marching parade, but soon. And then I've got to get some work done. So pretty bad. But I'm going to make up for it. And I'm really grateful that I'm doing this experimental YouTube live stream sharing of my life. I feel like I'm starting to make a little progress towards creating what I want to create. And I want just to express gratitude and say that I'm going to continue. And I hope it's going to get better and more interesting. And I think I probably need to speak up a little bit, or maybe get better sound quality or video quality, because I know the video quality goes in and out. I'll have to talk to some of my friends about it and see if they can give me some pointers, some tips and tricks to make it all better. And yeah, just keep going. I see something evolving. I have to figure out how to do mirror stuff too, because I love showing things to the camera. Got these stickers. Write that down in my idea. Another show that I'm gonna do is showing off the clothes that I'm selling, because I'm gonna do like a yard sale kind of thing to get rid of some clothes that someone left here, because I lost, yeah. I think we've done enough. I wonder if I should show wall. I guess it's too windy right now. Bird of happiness. This is my little sage diffuser. Nice smelling. Oh God, that's good. I wish there was smell-o-vision to share. Almost clear dusk. Your chair. More. Bye-bye. See you soon. Another time.